So to start off with rendering sprites, I am trying to import some image libraries that I can use to render PNGs and that kind of thing. I'm just following along a tutorial to do this, and I'm getting some weird errors. I think the libraries aren't properly linked up or something like that. I think there's something to do with some things using 64-bit and other things using 32-bit, and so the program doesn't execute properly. But anyway, I'm for now I'm gonna just try and get this to at least run properly, get these image libraries imported properly. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna use these PNG libraries in the end. I might need to do like some kind of like my own rendering code. Just because I think that like if I want to do like dynamic shadows or something, I'm gonna need to have a little bit more control over the sprites than just like having sprites. They're gonna need to be dynamic. So I don't know what I mean. Maybe they're like transformations that I can do on the images that I'm rendering. But anyway, for now I'm just gonna use the images, the PNGs, just to kind of get things in there. And then once I start doing like more in-depth plant growth, more in-depth graphics and animation, then I'm going to look into other options. But anyway, for now I'm just going to try and get this working. So here we go. Okay, so it wasn't that bad. I just I recreated the project so it has like a proper name and everything. I organized some of the files a little bit better. So the project directories are a little neater and everything's named properly, and I am able to load this PNG to, well, yeah, it's loaded, so that's a success for me. So yeah, did I say I put it in a new directory? So it's part of a new project on GitLab as well now. Before I was using a SDL test project on GitLab, and now I'm using Green Thumb SDL is the name of the GitLab project. So yeah, it's good. It's kind of cleaner, and from now on I'm gonna go ahead and try and develop this PNG a little bit more and sort of render it smaller and try and move it around and stuff like that. So yeah. Right, so I've added a player class which controls the most basic of stuff about the player. Movement and position, and it renders the player. So yeah, those things. It can move and render the player. So it's basically all it does is it just has a texture, and it just updates the position of the texture based on the position of the player, and the position of the player is changed based on the movement speed and these functions getting called. These functions are called when certain key down events are fired. The different booleans are set depending on whether or not the certain keys are pressed, and then every frame, if those keys are pressed, the player movement functions will be called. So this way we can handle multiple keys being down at the same time. It's just going to keep track of which keys are down, and whichever keys are down, those are the movement functions that are going to be called on that particular frame. So it's pretty straightforward. I've got this render function on the player being used here. You just pass it the render, and it behaves just like the render clear function. Ooh, I should probably clean up the player texture. What do I do? I guess I do SDL free texture. destroy texture, and it's gonna be the player dot texture. I'll have to do this in the destructor of the player. So player's gonna need a hang on a minute. Oh yeah, the player's gonna need a destructor. So okay, this is gonna be maybe I'll put it at the bottom. Oh man, my headphone cord is right in my way. Okay, so it's just we're gonna destroy texture, and that's I think that's the only thing. That's the only pointer we have. And also here, the player is also a pointer, so we're gonna have to, how are we gonna free that? I guess it'll just automatically get freed. I don't know. Anyway, here's what we're looking at. So here's the player, and I can use my movement keys to move it around, and you can see on the console here, if I press a key that's not one of the movement keys, it's not recognized, but if I press a movement key, I can move around, and I can go off the edge of the screen right now. Yeah, so it's super basic. I mean, there's not even, like, I can still do diagonals, like, way faster, because it's just going left and, you know, up at the same, like, constant velocity up, constant velocity left, so combined they're doing both of them at the same time, so it's going too fast. So it's like extremely basic, but honestly I'm really happy with this. It's really good to see this working in SDL. Yeah, so I think that's good progress for today.